What is the most valuable lesson you've learned from working in the industry so far?
Um, to not take everything so seriously. I think a lot of people stress themselves out really quickly on set. It is a stressful situation. You got to make sure that you're constantly, hey Luke, we need you to go to hair and makeup. We need you to wardrobe. Okay, now we need you over here. Oh, we did a makeup thing. Now we got to change that. Oh wait, we forgot wardrobe, so we're gonna go back to there. There is just a lot of stress, just
Yeah.
genuine, like just all around. But the most important thing is just to just chill and have fun with it and not be so serious and so stressed. It's a fun time, and if you make it a fun time, you're gonna have a fun time. So
Yeah.
be productive, do everything right, but have a good time with it. Don't stress yourself out, because then you're just gonna have a really rough time. And it's nobody's fun when it's all just stress. So you gotta just keep it lighthearted, have a good time, not stress.
Yeah. Good advice. All right. Is there anything you want anybody to know about you or your work?
Um, uh, my work. I think I want everyone to know that if you see me in a scene where that's just not peak, I want you to know that I try, but there's just so much time constraints. It is really hard to make every scene as good as possible. And I think about me personally, uh, is I don't know, I'm still young where I'm still learning things. I'm still learning how to kind of manage all this. So like I know there's a lot of people that request to like do collabs with me and like yeah, interviews like this, for example. And a lot of it just gets pushed to the bottom. So if I don't see it, that is completely my bad. It's just there's such a flow of it, and I'm so busy. But yeah, everybody, I want everyone to know that I absolutely want to collab with you. I absolutely want to talk to each and every one of you guys. But it is incredibly difficult.
Yeah. Things get lost and you guys are busy. It's understandable, you know. So, and we get that. Well, I hope that we all understand that. So, okay. You've frozen. Oh, I think you're
For
back. Oh no, you're back now.
uh,
Yeah. It's frozen a few times, but you've come back quickly. So, okay. If you could
yeah,
swap
oh, yeah.
roles, if you could swap roles with one of your characters for 24 hours just for fun, who would it be?
Mm. Oh, I think of the newest one, Taming My Bullies on Real Shorts. Teddy Langford. He is an artist and he's super rich and he has a great house and I would love his house. And uh, uh, yeah, I'd love to be able to focus on whatever art slash project, whatever I'm working on, give that 100% of my time and have the money to do that. And that'd be sweet. I think I'd love to be Teddy Langford.
Okay. All right. How do you make similar roles feel unique?
That again is just, it's a technical thing where it's like you got to think about what character choices you're going to make and then think about, okay, wait, did I use this already? What makes this guy unique? What makes this guy different? And then play into that really hard because uh any choice you make mentally, you got to really push that before it's visible. So I really have details about the character that would be unique, and then I use my own kind of imagination to expand upon those things. um and so yeah, that is a challenge because again, a lot of characters, I'm sure everyone's aware, I play pretty similar characters so most
Mm.
of the time, at least so far. There's some changes coming, but at least so far. And so that is always a bit of a challenge, but I always am happy when I see the final project and I can tell the difference between characters. I'm always very happy to see that.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. If you could revisit any of the characters you've played and perform it again with everything you know now, would you? And who would it be?
Absolutely, first off. And I think probably a tough one. Absolutely, but I think it'd be Dylan from Don't Miss Me When I'm Gone. Um, I really wish I could have gone back and done a couple more things with the character because I feel like in a lot of scenes he just came off angry, and I would have liked a little bit more to have a little bit more. backstory and kind of think about more why he's angry and make it different each time. And I think it was a little too similar. And so I would love to go back in time and redo that for sure.
Yeah. Well, one of my questions was going to be how do you navigate a character when there's barely any backstory? So that's a hard one.
Yes. That is a tough one. That is where your own imagination and your own kind of personality as an actor has to come through way more, because there's not a lot to go off of. So you kind of have to be like, all right, well, what is this guy gonna? What would I do if I was in this guy's shoes? And then why am I doing that? Okay, maybe it's because he wasn't popular in high school, and so that's why he's upset. 'Cause he's you know upset at the world, or he's upset at his mom or his father, and that's why it's like that. And you kind of just have to kind of get creative and imagine what's going on. And then you also go back and forth with like the director and the writer, and sometimes the writer's available, sometimes they're not. And when the writer is available, that's really helpful because you can kind of see what their vision was compared to what your vision is, and then
Yeah.
either compromise, or if you like more, or if you like your idea more, and you kind of pick and choose, and make like a collaboration of all those things.
Yeah.
So
Oh, that's good. Okay. Um, what are some challenges that you face on set that others outside the field might not recognize?
oh man, well, definitely one of the main big ones is just getting enough sleep because sometimes you get
Yeah.
overnight shoots and it's weird, and then so you're doing you know, a 4 to 4 a.m. and then you do have to shoot the next day. Sometimes it's a day off, and that's really nice, but it still messes up your sleep schedule. So then you gotta get to set,
Yeah.
and you're like so tired. Also, when you do them back to back, it's just a lot of like, I mean, you're working a 12-hour day, sometimes more, and then you gotta like, just keep going, and you gotta just always keep going, and that does get physically and mentally taxing. And so again, that kind of circles back to what I was saying earlier. You gotta like have fun with it. You can't get stressed. You can't, if you have a bad time, then everyone's gonna have a bad time. So you just gotta,
Yeah.
be positive and have a good time. And another challenge, it's a bit more, I guess, like a bit more niche, is like locations. Sometimes locations are kind of crazy. Like sometimes the AC is weird and like will only kick on at certain times, or they have to turn it off when they're shooting. And then like I remember
Oh,
in Don't Miss Me When I'm Gone, or I think it was Don't Miss Me When I'm Gone. Oh, maybe it was different. There was a courtroom scene. We're in a courtroom, and we there was a just there was like no AC at one point because they had to turn it off because it was so loud, and so we were just sweating bullets, and it was so hot, but we made it through. We all did it. So there's like physical like things, like sometimes the set has like a really small holding room where everyone like goes to hang out when they're not on camera, and that is always kind of rough. Or if it's like uh, if it's in like a location where there's no convenience stores nearby and you can't go get like your Red Bull or something,
yeah.
if they don't have it on set, anything that on set you can't go get, and so that's a little annoying. So yeah, it's just like kind of smaller things like where we're actually shooting. Uh, there's tiny things like that you'll never know on camera, but in person,
Yeah.
it's sometimes rough.
Yeah. I mean, I've had an interview with a director, and she said that weather conditions is one of the hardest things to navigate because it's just so
Big
unpredictable.
time.
So, yeah. Okay.
Absolutely. Yeah.
How do
Either it's
you
way too
make,
hot or way too.
sorry, what?
Oh, I said either way too hot or way too cold.
Yeah, or raining when you don't want it to be. Yeah. In her case, there was she went to shoot at a river, which was great when they went there. But then when they actually did the shot, it was flooded. So they had to
Oh, yeah.
navigate the flood. But she wrote the flood into the scene at that time. So they
Oh,
made it
that's
work. But yeah, it's pretty cool.
nice.
But they didn't plan for that at all. So
Yeah.
yeah, that's pretty cool though. All right. What do you think makes a performance unforgettable?
Hmm. It's definitely a unforgettable performance. Definitely relies on the amount of effort you put into it. you can make something, and anything you do, you can make it either really good or subpar. And everything I try to do, I try to put my best foot forward. And an unforgettable performance is going to be something you've put so much time into, so much thought, so much energy, so much passion into that. And that's one of those things that's hard to keep up for every single scene. But I think everyone should try to make every scene like that. And then same thing where if you shoot for the stars and land on the moon, you want to like set a goal for yourself and then try to at least get halfway there, and then you're going to be great. It's going to be awesome. So
Yeah. All right. Is there certain roles you feel less confident doing?
yeah, I think any scenes or any character that has kind of more emotional or physical abusiveness is always really hard to display. That's really difficult. And those ones are not fun to do. Can't lie. That's like one of that's really hard. Even though it's completely fake and it's all a character,
Mm,
it is still really to, pretend to do those things. So that is, yeah, I
yeah.
think that's probably the hard.
Yeah, I can understand that. Okay. How do you handle moments when you're on a scene? Sorry. How do you handle moments when you're on a scene that doesn't go the way that you envisioned?
I kind of just flow with it because there's not really a lot you can do. If it's not what you envisioned, no one can reset the scene and make it exactly what you're thinking. So you kind of just have to roll with the punches. It's one of those things that you can't really have the foresight for. You just have to get there and make best with what you got. And be willing and ready to improv slash change what your plans were on a dime, because
Yeah.
that is the biggest a vertical an actor who does verticals and an actor who does like kind of more traditional films is the biggest difference is we have to be really on a dime with everything we do. We don't know what's next. Like in
Yeah.
locations and stuff, it's really hard to kind of get an idea of what's going on. With a film, you have all this time, all everything's laid out for you. You got days and days to do scenes, but verticals, you got like an hour, and so that is a
Yeah.
skill that is a very hard to master, but it
Yeah.
pays off once you.
And it's a completely different learning ability that you get with these verticals as well. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I've got one more question for you. What does a good day on set look like for you?
Good day on set. First off, a good day on set starts with breakfast. Sometimes there's not breakfast, sometimes there's just snack. A good
Yeah.
vertical will have some sort of protein and like some sort of light carbs, and then always, always a Celsius or something like that, because coffee for so many days gets a bit annoying and repetitive, especially when there's like not really any flavors. You got like hazelnut and French vanilla, and you're drinking that every day, every scene.
Yeah.
So a Celsius, and then everyone coming in with like a good mood is always great. And like, when there's not too much to do that day, so everyone kind of is a bit more lax. Everyone, takes their time, and that is like a perfect day. Oh, and then like a couple funny things happening during the day. A couple slip ups or mess ups, or someone says a line wrong, and that's hilarious. And
Yeah.
so something memorable also makes it a great shoot. So yeah, that I think those are the key factors in a perfect day.
Yeah. I didn't realize until I started doing these interviews how important food was on set. Like, yeah, I've
Oh
now
yeah,
realized that it's a very
oh,
important factor. So,
backbone, the backbone to our whole thing.
yeah, just need those energy drinks and good substance. Yeah,
I got to.
yeah. Okay. Well, thank you for taking the time to have this interview with me today. I really appreciate it.
Of course, thank you for having me. This was awesome.
Anytime. Well, you enjoy the rest of your night, and I'll talk to you again very soon.
All right, sounds great. Have a great rest of your day.
Thank you.
All right,
Bye.
bye bye.